All right, people, what's happening? Hope everyone's having a good day today. So, this is a new project of mine. Um, it's going to be called Making Things Happen. And I'm going to be interviewing people who are basically making things happen in their life. These are people who have started businesses, are creative, they're musicians, they're influencers, they're whatever. They stepped out of their comfort zone and they're going to make something happen. Okay, they're going to make something happen outside the norm. So I run a Facebook marketing group for e-commerce brands, and I teach them all about kind of like e-commerce branding and all that kind of good stuff. And I've got well over 100 people in that, and really good brands that are in there at the moment. And yeah, I'm going to be interviewing a few of those, which is going to be cool because it's all about starting a business, selling stuff online, the ups and downs, the joys, the experiences that they're having, the advice that they give. And I think that something like this would really sort of help, people, especially as we're coming out of COVID now, maybe to inspire people to sort of take action and maybe set up their own businesses or set up their own kind of passion projects or kind of creativity and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, I hope these interviews are, going to be good. I hope they're going to be of value, and I hope that you're going to enjoy them. I think they're going to be good stories. My first one that you're going to see today now is from a guy called Brian Holmes, and he has a fashion label. He started earlier this year, and I think it's a pretty good story. He's got some really good advice to offer as well. People who are actually, at the very beginning looking to maybe start something out. So I hope you enjoy, guys. That's it. We'll talk soon. Take care. All right, welcome along. We have Brian Holmes with us here.
How's it going, folks?
How's it going? Want to mention the brands that you have right now at the moment going on, Brian. What are you doing these days, man? What sort of point of difference are you making in the world today?
Yeah, so my brand is called Electric Endgame. It's a luxury clothing brand I set up during the last lockdown that I felt was something that would keep me head above water for starters. But also it was something I found that a lot of Irish brands out there weren't quite good quality. They weren't maybe as kind of edgy or as kind of, I suppose, fashion forward as we here in Ireland would like it to be. I suppose with everything happening nowadays, you're being urged to buy locally and shop Irish and stuff like that. And I just found that my options were quite limited when it came to finding a new T-shirt to wear or finding a new shirt for a night out or whatever it might have been. So I said it was something that could definitely help me to, I suppose, put my focus and energy into something productive that I felt that young people here in Ireland would really relate to, and I suppose it was something creative that I suppose I could put out there into the world with the hopes of it becoming something bigger in the future.
Oh man, yeah. We're gonna put the URL into like a chat or a comment or something like that, so people can actually check it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I believe you actually have a sale going on right now. Do you? Is that possible? Or?
I do indeed. Yeah.
Good, yeah.
For Father's Day, actually, we were running a sale.
Good,
so it's 25% off the whole collection. You can get that. It'll be in the description, and we'll leave a link or something like that people can go check it out.
Yeah, 100%. The next question, I think you might have covered this already, though. The sort of motivation or the drive to sort of, push this brand, like you were kind of on lockdown. I think you only started up now in March or something like that, wasn't it, of this year?
Yeah, March.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's all fairly new, and I mean, like, obviously our collection today is simply 3 T-shirts that I felt were classic, where I suppose something that you can wear with anything. They come in black, white, and grey. I just felt keep it simple for the first line that come out, and then hopefully as the brand starts to expand and we start to grow as a business, start adding more lines to the collection, start adding more pieces to the collection, and kind of differ it up a little bit,
Yes,
and we can get a little bit more creative with more resources that might be added.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I kind of came across you a few months ago. You're in my Facebook group where we teach marketing and all that kind of stuff. And when I came across your stuff, I really liked it. I thought it was really cool. You know what I mean? So I said I'm gonna have to reach out, and so I did, and this is where we are today, like kind of thing. But yeah, man, fair play. All good. Look, what are some of the setbacks that you've had when you've sort of developed this brand? When you're starting out, I've done a few startups in the past. It's never the easiest thing to do. You do come with your challenges, whether it's financially or dealing with customers or new skills that you're kind of dealing with. So what in your experience are some of the maybe the setbacks that you've sort of experienced so far?
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose within my industry, I mean, like it was definitely a struggle. Like I was, trying to find a supplier for about 2 or 3 months here in Ireland, and unfortunately, I couldn't find one that would, I suppose, cater to my needs. They just didn't have the capabilities to do so. So I actually went. I had to go abroad. So I did that, and the design process was quite simple. So there wasn't too many roadblocks. However, I did feel the kind of language barrier was constantly there. With me explaining what it was I had envisioned,
Mm.
and then as well as that, there's a lot of things that happen along the way. I know with clothing anyway. You get samples sent out, but the samples may not always be 100% the first time around. You could give them the exact measurements, the exact details, the exact specifications, and somehow it'll still come out slightly wrong or just not right. How you want it, because at the end of the day, you're investing so much money into this new baby of yours that you want everything to be perfect, and you want people to see the vision that you've had in your head for the longest time. So, there definitely are a lot of setbacks when it comes to production,
Mm.
but also, in terms of shipping times, like, I know my supplier is halfway across the world. So, I suppose if I was to tell this to someone thinking of starting up now, I would say give yourself that lead time, an appropriate amount of lead time, because there's no point, I suppose, like I know one of the mistakes I made was I had said that the brand would be released in, let's say, February,
Mm.
but my stock didn't come in until the end of March. So, I mean, like, there are certain delays, and with everything going on with COVID and stuff like that, there's even further delays. So,
Yeah.
I'd always kind of give an appropriate lead time. I'd also make sure that have a separate bank account for the business, regardless of how small you might be. Have a separate bank account. It's easier to keep track of your funds, keep track of, I suppose,
Yeah.
what you're making, what's profit, and then it just kind of gives you consistency with regards to, exactly, I suppose, where your incoming cash is going and where your
Yeah.
outgoing cash is going as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%, man. 100%. Yeah, it's never easy. I mean, production, like you said before, like when you're producing something and you're trying to give it off to a supplier and you're going to go, okay, I want it this way. There's always a over and back at the end of the day, isn't there? When you actually eventually kind of get it right. And so there's a bit of a struggle on that one.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah. 100%, man. Look, next question, which is the opposite, the joys. What are the joys that you've experienced so far with this whole brand so far, this whole business?
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing. I suppose, like, like I said, it started out as something that was a hobby, and I didn't expect to sell 2 or 3 t-shirts. I've just been blown away with the reception that it's gotten, and
Nice.
just, I suppose, the joys for me is that I am a digital marketer by trade, so it's given me something to work towards within my own career, and developing my own skills within, like, marketing in a traditional sense, but also in digital marketing. I've had to think of ways outside the box to try and market my products to the relevant customer. And I don't know, call it what you want, but I've found that quite entertaining, to be honest. And I've just found the learning process along the way has just been it just sucked me in. Do you know what I mean? It just literally, like, I've just enjoyed learning new tricks and learning new, I suppose, methods of doing things along the way. In terms of operations, like, like I mentioned to you before, kind of learning how to deal with suppliers, learning how to bargain with suppliers. I suppose learning as well how to not settle for anything other than like perfection. Like if something isn't exactly the way you want it, make sure you get it. We have a thing here in Ireland where we're constantly saying, it's grand, sure, it'll do. But that not might be how your customer will see it. At the end of the day, you've invested so much money into this, you want it to be perfect.
Yeah.
And you want your customer to think it's perfect,
Yeah.
And which is why another kind of joy to this side of the business is, now that everyone is kind of coming out of lockdown and stuff like that, you can go to the pubs again, you can go out to the parks and see your friends, and you're walking around and you're seeing people wearing your t-shirt and you're like, Jesus, I didn't like, it's just astronomical to kind of get that reception,
Yeah, 100%, man.
It's really been a pleasure.
There's no better feeling, man, than actually being creative and then putting something out there and then people are receptive to it. Because there's so much energy and thought that goes into that. And when you see the final product, man, and people are enjoying it, I mean, it's the best buzz ever.
It is.
It really is, man.
It is.
Good job.
Real self, I suppose, satisfaction, and kind of, kind of teach you a lot about yourself. Like, especially, like, I know we've all had a pretty rough year. To create something out of that kind of, I suppose, dark time in our lives.
Yeah.
It's really it's a real pat on the back to yourself, and it kind of shows you that you can do, I suppose, anything if you really do just put in the time and put in the effort, and I suppose that's why our kind of motto in Electric Endgame is, we were born out of desolation and forged in a dirty old town. The dirty old town being Dublin, of course. Things got really bad, but it's great to see things starting to pick up again.
Yeah, and it was rough, man. It was rough for so many people. I mean, you're in the group, man. There's so many different businesses from different parts of the world, mainly Ireland and the UK and mainland Europe and stuff. But I remember, like, just talking to yourself, like, and so many others, everyone's had it so rough, man. So to be able to put something out there into the world during a very difficult time, fair play to everyone. There's a lot of people that started businesses in COVID because of demand, but that doesn't make it easy all the time either. You know what I mean? So, yeah, well done, man. Well done. Right. Listen, other question. What does this business look like in 5 or 10 years time? Like, what sort of vision do you have? You're off now to a good start. Where do you see this going? Where would you like to see this going? Yeah.
Personally, you know what I mean? Like, to be honest, right, I do have a plan as such, and I suppose, like, right now I'm selling out of my box bedroom. All of my stock is here, and I'd like to keep those, I suppose, humble abodes, in the sense of, like, remembering where we came from. But I would like to kind of maybe, open a warehouse if like I said, if things continue to grow and we start adding more and more lines to the collections. I would definitely love to have my own warehouse and hopefully 2 or 3 staff members beneath me, I suppose, creating the vision with me, like, I mean, I'd like to see maybe, Jesus, I suppose we're an international brand as it is, like, we offer international shipping, but I'd like to see maybe a few shop fronts opening up as well,
Cool.
Whether it's a small kind of boutique on the high street. I think that would definitely suit our clientele, but also, I'd love to see concession stands popping up in the likes of Arnott's, in like, I suppose, the likes of, like, big retailers like Radar, or whether it be even Selfridges in the UK, or whatever it might be. I'd love to have that kind of reach, and I suppose that sort of growth in about 5 years time, please God.
There's nothing like going into a clothing store and just walking around, being able to pick stuff up and actually feel the material, look at its 360 over and back, try it on, the whole lot. That's the one thing that we don't really kind of get to experience in the web, so
exactly.
Stores,
and it's definitely, I suppose, like, sorry to cut across you, Sean, but it's definitely something that actually was you who taught me. Like, kind of like with my store, we had like an audit kind of thing, and you kind of gave me some hints and tips and said, hey, here, just try and configure that. Like, if you want to optimize your sales and you want to convert more traffic to sales, try changing this. And I went and did it, and it was so funny because like literally straight away it was like boom, like overnight, like literally more sales.
Good.
And like one of the things you said was actually the whole thing of maybe setting up like a video um of like a model walking with the t-shirt on,
Yeah, yeah,
doing a
yeah.
spin so that the customer could kind of get a
Gaze
detailed look at
experience.
how
Yeah,
it
yeah,
fits,
yeah.
like you said, 360, but then also they can see what you might pair it with, because right now, like I said, we're black, white and grey t-shirts. They're fairly like like standard colors, but when you see what they're paired with, you can say, oh geez, I have one of them at home in the wardrobe, I can pair that with that would look fantastic on a Saturday night or whatever it might be,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
I have to
definitely.
say hats off to you. You knew what you were talking about straight away.
Yeah, oh, man. I mean, appreciate that, but definitely look at other accessories that you can put together with these t-shirts because
Of course.
in the product page or even in the cart page itself, you can always have an opportunity to sort of upsell. I think I kind of mentioned that in that audit that time as well, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, you'll get there, man. I mean, look, you're only starting out at the end of the day too. It's you know, you're building the brand out, you're building the community out. Excuse me,
No worries.
that's the phone. So yeah,
If
no,
it
but
didn't go off, right.
yeah. Well, this is it. This is I'll have to switch that off the next time. But no, it's like it's all about like upselling and cross selling the whole lot. Like you have to sort of look at that as an opportunity. But yeah, look, last question, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Based on your journey so far, what advice would you give to people?
Jesus,
You're
I
a
suppose.
startup. You're a startup.
Yeah, I
What
mean, like
advice
I
would you give to
suppose.
people who are kind of like wanting to push themselves out there too as well? Like because you're making something happen since March this year. What sort of advice would you kind of give people to
Hmm.
to viewers?
I would say, I suppose, like the initial kind of everyone always has these flash in the pan ideas, whether it's when you're at the cinema watching a movie or you're sitting in the pub with your mates or whatever it might be. People tend to have these stroke of genius, as they say, but not enough people act on it because they're afraid of like failure. They're afraid of, well, what will other people think of me if I, try and go out on my own or try and make a name for myself or try and, like you said, make things happen. I feel like the advice I'd give to someone else would be to just put that in the back of your mind. Like, at the end of the day, life is short, and even if you fail, you're never starting from scratch, you're starting from experience. And I feel like, you shouldn't even be thinking like that, because if you even catch one small win each day within your business or within your business idea, in the startup, you're one step closer to achieving that goal that you had in your mind from the beginning. And like Rome wasn't built in a day. People expect to start up a business and become a millionaire overnight. That's not how it works, and I think that can sometimes factor in as to why a lot of people don't start their own little business or even a project. You know what I mean? It doesn't even have to be a business. It could be a project that you just literally have an interest in. And I think that once kind of people remove that fear of failure, they're 100 times better off than they were in the beginning, because
Yeah,
now they believe in themselves, but also they know that they have a goal to achieve, which I think just makes you even more motivated to do so. So definitely, like, I mean, I know so many times people come up to me, they see the t-shirts and stuff like that. That's actually, sorry, that's the new
hey,
collection
there you
that
go, nice one.
it's coming out actually this month. So
Cool.
there's some samples that we got in there not too long ago.
Sound very good.
But people say to me, they're like, "Oh Jesus, fair play to you for doing that. Like, I wouldn't be able to do that. You know what I mean? Like, God, I wouldn't know. Like, I wouldn't know what people are thinking of me." And I think, well, why do you care? You know what I mean? Like, realistically, at the end of the day, if it's something that makes you happy, it's something, like I said, that kept me sane throughout a lockdown
Yeah,
that was terrible. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
I think that, and like I said, when you go out on your own and you do this and you beat that fear, it's so much more satisfying because you can say that you did it yourself, and that would be
yeah.
the one kind of piece of advice I'd give to people about making shit happen. just like literally do it. You know, people say, oh, I have no money. When I started this business, I didn't even have a job. You know, I didn't even, I had an idea, but I didn't have a job. I actually had to go and get a full-time job because I was living in New York last year, came home, was unemployed because of the lockdowns and stuff like that. But you know, I got a job, like literally just like, you know, doing skivvy work, and you know, that was the funding of my business on the side. You know, people say 9 to 5 pays the bills, but you know, 5 to 10 builds your empire, and that's the way you need to think about it. You know what I mean? Like it's, you know, it's never easy, but I mean, if it's something that you enjoy doing, you're gonna love doing it anyway. You're gonna come home from work dying to get stuck into it, so just do it. Do you know what I mean? Just like I said, just get stuck in and love what you do. You know,
100%, man. That's great advice. You really do. You have to you have to get out of your comfort zone always. I got a great quote. It's like, you're either winning or you're learning. You're never losing. You always exactly. Learn from an experience, or you win from doing, you know, something different, like, you know, in your business kind of thing. So you need to really look into that.
Exactly.
Sure, man. Brian, it's been a pleasure, man.
Absolutely.
This is the first interview of hopefully many, and you are the first.
Numero uno.
Yeah, 100%, man. You did a great job. I really appreciate it. And you know what? I really wish you the best with everything. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, you know, it's hopefully, you know, our chat today can help someone else out there that, you know, is either thinking of starting their own little business, or, you know, is maybe in the early stages of you know, running a little business.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, I hope some of the things that we touched on today might rub off on somebody else and might, you know, alter someone else's mindset in a positive way, you know. And it's been a pleasure chatting with you as well. You know, it's been a lot of fun.
100%, because you're like the epitome of basically, you've only started since March, so anyone that's going to thinking about starting something right now, you are literally a brilliant example of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
I hope to bring on guests like that have got, say, more establishment, or, you know, passion projects that they've been kind of working on in future and stuff like that, and for many years and stuff. But for you, it's a great example for people who are thinking about starting out. Check out Brian. You know,
this is fantastic.
You know, came back from New York, had no job, had a vision, had a dream, is pursuing it right now, is happy, learning from the ups and downs and the joys and the whole lot as well, man. And I mean, congratulations. I really wish you the best.
Thank you.
So look, by the way, we're going to leave a link to the website. It's Father's Day coming up, so there is a sale going on.
Yeah, 25% off.
Okay, cool. Anyone wants to spoil themselves, you know where we're going.
You know, you can use the discount code, all caps, Father21.
Okay, super, man.
Okay.
Listen, thank you, man. We're gonna leave it right there.
Thanks a million, Sean. You're a legend.
Man, no, you're a legend too. You're a legend too. I love you to bits, man. Thank you so much.
No worries, dude. Thank you.
Talk soon, pal. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Look.